Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. First things first, a little housekeeping. Tyler Jackson, reach out to me. You won the Nobles ODR mini pedal, and I need to send that out to you, so reach out to me when you get a chance. And just a quick reminder, if you like this channel, hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will also let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. And if you want to share this video, well, there's a button for that as well. Speaking of giveaways, I figured I'd give a shout out to John Mann's Guitar Vault. They're doing a giveaway / raffle on a lovely PRS David Grissom trim guitar, as well as a PRS David Grissom DG30 amp and matching 212 cabinet. They've also included some PRS accessories such as the floating guitar stand and some PRS cables. It's basically a David Grissom PRS starter kit, which is a pretty sweet setup. I'll post a link in the area below for you to check it out and enter. Just as an FYI, the contest runs as a charity raffle, meaning you have to buy a ticket to win. The cost per ticket is $100 plus a $3 handling and processing fee, and there are only 200 tickets available. But the money generated goes to charity, and in this case, it goes to the Webster House of Manchester, New Hampshire, which provides safe haven for teens at risk. I'll post a link to their organization in the area below if you are curious about their work. John Mann's Guitar Vault has been doing raffles like this for years and have donated a ton of money to this charity. And I've been there when he has presented a check to the Webster House, and it's great to see a local shop support the community in a broader sense. Yes, it's a pretty pricey ticket, but the rig clocks in at just over $9,000, and with only 200 tickets, the odds are in your favor. Now, I'm not affiliated with any of the groups or the organizing bodies or companies. I just wanted to let you all know about it so you can get a chance to win. I'll have a link to that contest in the area below. And on to news. For the gig report for Wednesday, August 18th, 2021 at the Brickyard in Woburn, Mass. One issue we had to overcome on this was a lack of our usual preparation and practice. Our drummer was out of commission for a small surgery that thankfully went well, so we didn't get any rehearsals in since our last gig. Now, overall though, it was a very strong performance from everybody, and we had quite a big crowd. This time we really tightened up the break time to about 10 minutes between sets and kept things moving very quickly. I think this may have helped contribute to keeping a crowd there, and even better is this area where we play is also adjacent to a public space where people seem to gather and just hang out and listen, even though they weren't dining or having a drink at the restaurant. Weather-wise, it was hazy, hot, and humid, and we again dodged any rain. We had a literal sprinkle at the beginning of our third set. Gear-wise, again, I used my Boss ME70 along with my Prs Se Acoustic. However, during the middle of the third set, the G-string snapped at the bridge. I had brought my telly, and I quickly switched over to that with no issue. Thankfully, I do happen to have some electric guitar patches in my Boss ME70, and it sounded really nice. And I realized I've never used my telly live. The reason I brought that guitar was it's a simple workhorse instrument with only 3 pickup sounds. It kind of kept me honest with no option paralysis of trying to find which pickup setup would work better per song. I used the middle position a lot for the clean sounds, and I did use some dirty tones on the leads with the bridge pickup. I still think my telly would definitely benefit from some upgraded pickups, but it worked out fine overall. It did make me kind of think about doing some more electric stuff going direct into the PA, possibly maybe going down a more advanced modeling situation, maybe upgrading to the Boss ME70 or maybe even an HX Stomp. That unit actually has some dedicated acoustic sounds, and if I make a change in that sense, it'll be further down the line because this gig just scratched the surface for me with the option of running just a DI electric guitar signal without an amp. But I could also very easily just throw my Strymon Iridium on my pedal board and take it from there. Now, this week we actually had 2 gigs. We played at the Caliph Lake Campground in Amherst, New Hampshire, the next Saturday, the 21st, with only a few days between gigs, which is a little bit unusual for us. We usually have a gig about every 4 to 6 weeks. And also, it was not our usual kind of gig. But the campground reached out to us. It was kind of on a lark, and they asked us to play there. And it's always nice to not have to hunt for a gig. So this was very, very welcome while being a little unusual. As I said, we only had a couple of days between the gigs as opposed to our usual couple of weeks, so there wasn't a lot of prep time. But I did change the strings of my acoustic. I had just restrung it in July before the last gig, and I was kind of surprised at the corrosion that coated them. I usually get about 6 to 8 weeks out of them at least, but we've been practicing a lot, and the previous gig was also acoustic, and as well as practicing on my own, along with the hot and humid weather and more sweating, I'm not surprised that those strings took a beating. I restrung it with elixirs, and I had a pretty good supply of them on hand, so that was thankfully I didn't have to run out or get any. Now, when it comes to electric guitar strings, my go-to has always been D'Addario, mostly the XL series. I've tried the NY XLs, and I do think they're very nice. They sound and feel a bit tighter, which I do like, but it's not enough for me to switch completely. But I'm still searching for the best acoustic string for me, and right now I've used a lot of the D'Addario Phosphor Bronze and the elixirs, and I'm not too sure which ones I like best. I have ordered some D'Addario XT series strings, and I'm going to give those a try for my next set. And speaking of sets, I'm using a 12 to 53 gauge, and that seems to work pretty well for me at this point. Now, I just got my Prs Se Acoustic at the beginning of the pandemic, and while I did play it a lot at practices as well as around here, 2020 was primarily an electric gig situation. As we've had a run of 3 acoustic shows in a row, and along with practices, my SE is getting a pretty good workout. And of course, the modification gene has kicked in. I'm considering upgrading the tuning machines to locking tuners, and that's mostly just for ease of string changes. And I'm thinking about upgrading the bridge pins as well. But back to the gig. We did tempt the weather gods on Saturday as Hurricane Henri was on the horizon, and it was another hazy, hot, and humid day, and it was a perfect weather to be at a lake. The cooler lake temperature was certainly nice. It really cooled off between the first and second set, where I could feel that evening dew coating my guitar when I picked it up. We used our previous gig sets as a basis with some minor tweaks. One thing we did kind of overlook was that the gig was from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Now, usually we just play 3 sets at about 45 minutes apiece, so having to fill in that extra time with tunes that we really hadn't practiced was a little bit nerve-wracking, but we adapted well, especially considering we didn't have our usual practice schedule before these previous 2 gigs. But gear-wise, I kept things the same as Wednesday night's gig, although I did get myself a new mic stand. The crowd there really liked us, and it was kind of nice to have a place where people just kind of hung out and they just wanted to listen to some tunes. The staff member that hired us was also very happy and said that she would love to have us up there again next year. It's kind of also opened our eyes to some new areas we haven't really considered to play gigs at. It also kind of puts the summer shows to bed in a sense, with September just a couple of weeks away, so it's difficult to think of next year already. We've already started to book some indoor shows, and I hope the COVID situation doesn't get worse where indoor live music again gets put on hold, and we can kind of get back to that normal aspect of normal. But anyways, overall, both gigs went very well. Very pleased with my performance. A couple little kerfuffles here and there. Some curveballs were thrown on the Saturday show, but we adapted very well to that. And it was really kind of a nice peak. We've kind of like hit this wonderful new level of getting everybody playing together well and sounding really like a good unit. We had a lot of people at both the Brickyard and the campground. They really enjoyed it, and even one audience member posted on our Facebook page saying that they really liked us, which is kind of a new thing for us. Usually we don't get that type of response, so it's nice to get some positive reinforcement. But anyways, that's about it for this week. If you have any comments and questions, please feel to drop them in the space below. And I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.